On January 4, 2024, what began as an adventurous night dive for two experienced divers turned into a horrifying tragedy. This is the story of Christopher Gaudet and Frederic Pochet, whose decision to dive into the Plate Taille reservoir would lead them into the jaws of one of Belgium's most powerful hydroelectric dams. The Plate Taille Dam, located in Wallonia, Belgium, is the largest dam in the country. It is part of the Eau de Air lake system, a network of 5 artificial reservoirs created to regulate water supply and generate hydroelectric power. The dam was completed in the late 20th century and stands at an impressive height of 107 meters. It features a pumped storage hydroelectric system that contributes to Belgium's renewable energy supply. The dam is a popular tourist destination, offering guided tours. Visitors can explore the dam's underground galleries, engine room, and even a glass skywalk for stunning views of the surrounding lakes. But while this dam is a hotspot for adventure and learning, it harbors a deadly secret. The Plate Taille Dam stretches 790 meters long and houses 4 enormous turbines, capable of moving 400 cubic meters of water per second. When operational, they create an immense suction force strong enough to pull in anything within their range. This phenomenon, known as differential pressure or delta P, is a diver's worst nightmare. The pressure difference between the reservoir's calm waters and the low-pressure intake tunnels creates an invisible and inescapable current, dragging anything caught within its grasp toward the spinning turbine blades. But this is why the dam is also built with 2 designated safe zones, ensuring that enthusiasts steer clear of the deadly pull of its intake tunnels. These zones, marked with a strict 20-meter depth limit, were non-negotiable for safety. Additionally, the faint hum of the dam's turbines heard within the safety zone also serves as a warning to stay away. However, despite the dive center's strict safety zones, there were no physical barriers at the dam's intake tunnels to protect divers from venturing too close. The protective grids that once covered the entrances had been removed years ago. Maintenance crews faced relentless challenges as the constant water pressure and vibrations from the turbines rapidly wore down the grids, requiring frequent and costly replacements every 2 to 3 months. Over time, the decision was made to abandon the grids altogether, leaving the intake tunnels exposed and adding a layer of risk that no safety protocol could fully mitigate. Diving near the turbines was a nightmare waiting to happen. In fact, scuba divers generally prefer diving when they can hardly hear the hum of the turbines. But 46-year-old Christopher Gaudet and 59-year-old Frederic Pochet weren't your average divers. Both were experienced and equipped with advanced closed-circuit rebreathers, tools designed to recycle exhaled air and extend dive times. Unlike the open-circuit systems commonly used by recreational divers, their gear hinted at an intent to push boundaries, diving deeper and for longer than usual. Christopher, though he might work in a bank, has an extended experience that members of the diving club lauded. Frederic may not belong to any diving club, at least none that was known, but he too had multiple dives under his sleeve. Besides, both men were PADI certified and equipped with very sophisticated equipment such as underwater propulsion scooters, signaling their intent to explore deeper than typical divers. So, what could possibly go wrong? As darkness blanketed the lake around 5 p.m. on that fateful day in January 2024, the pair entered the water. The local sailing and diving schools had shut for the day, and most visitors were packing up. The lake was gradually going from being noisy with excited activity to tranquil. It was as if it was preparing for the tragedy that was to unfold. At first, the pair had an easy and safe dive exploring the depths familiar to even amateur divers. During this time, they also couldn't hear the expected roaring sound of the powerful turbines, but this wasn't because they were far from them. The truth is, at that time, the turbines were turned off. The calmness they felt in the water added to their courage to venture deeper into the dam. After all, they hadn't come all this way with their advanced gear just to stay within the safe zones. Christopher and Frederic ventured far beyond the safety zones, descending deeper than the prescribed 20 meters. They descended to depths exceeding 40 meters, nearing the intake tunnels of the dam. They were entering forbidden territory. As the divers explored near the dam's intake tunnels, they anticipated what they would discover. Surely it would make for an arousing discussion among their diving peers. Unfortunately, their sense of excitement and discovery quickly turned into panic when a loud ranging sound of over 110 decibels boomed. It was the turbines. They had been suddenly powered on, triggered by an increased demand for electricity. The peaceful waters turned treacherous as the turbines unleashed their full force, creating a deadly current. Like a hungry beast with a sucking ability, they pulled everything in front of them towards their whirlpool belly. Among these things were the divers. Caught off guard, they were no match for the immense suction. Within moments, they were pulled toward the 4.5 meter wide intake pipes and dragged forcefully to the nearest turbine. As this happened, Christopher and Frederic tried to hold on to anything in their path, anything to stop them from getting pulled into that unyielding turbine. Their effort was useless. The current was too powerful. The force was immediate and overwhelming. Delta P pulled the divers toward the intake tunnels with an intensity no human could resist. Their advanced gear, training, and experience meant nothing in the face of such raw power. Within a few seconds, Christopher and Frederic, along with their gear, were sucked into the turbine. The water around them quickly turned red as bones and flesh churned their way out of existence. When Frederic failed to return home, his son grew increasingly concerned. By Friday morning, his worst fears began to take shape when he arrived at the Plate Taille reservoir and discovered one of the divers' cars still parked near the dam. He quickly alerted the authorities, and in no time, rescue teams, including civil protection divers equipped with sonar, started searching the dam. The search started early, but damaged diving equipment near the intake tunnels was not discovered until Friday night. Finding these things, everyone feared the worst had happened to Christopher and Frederic, but they held on to hope and continued their tireless search. Benoit Michel, the manager of the local dive center, revealed that the turbines had been operational that day, fueling speculation about the tragic chain of events. Frederic's son, however, clung to hope, reassured by the two divers' skill and experience in the water. Yet the odds they faced were overwhelming. To put the forces into perspective, while an Olympic swimmer averages a speed of 2.36 meters per second, the turbine's suction could drag anything nearby at speeds ranging from 10 to 30 meters per second. Even with their underwater scooters capable of a top speed of 2.8 meters per second, Christopher and Frederic would have had no chance to escape the immense pull. No human on Earth could overcome such a current. Also, even if protective gates had been in place, the outcome would likely have been the same. The sheer power of the suction would have pinned them against the grids, rendering any attempt to escape impossible and leading to suffocation or drowning. However, as hours turned to days, hope among friends and family persisted despite the grim circumstances. Heavy rainfall had further complicated the search, reducing visibility and slowing efforts. On the second day of the search, at approximately 10 a.m., helicopters equipped with thermal cameras were deployed to scour the area. By 12:30 p.m., 46 hours after the divers first entered the water, a grim discovery was made. Human remains were found downstream of the dam. During a subsequent sweep, additional remains were located on the shoreline approximately a kilometer away. Forensic analysis later confirmed that the body parts belonged to Christopher Gaudet and Frederic Pochet. Could this tragedy have been prevented? Without protective grids or stricter enforcement of safety zones, some argue that the risks of Plate Taille were an accident waiting to happen. Christopher Gaudet and Frederic Pochet were experienced divers who sought adventure in the depths of the Plate Taille reservoir. Instead, they found tragedy. Their story is a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath even the most serene waters. If you found this story compelling, like and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of real-life tragedies and the lessons they teach us.